Dexter Resurrection is one of the best shows on TV right now. It's really taken the series back to its roots. The storytelling is gripping, the visuals are stylistic, the characters are brilliantly written and performed, and the episodes just fly by. In episode 4, we were introduced to Leon Prater and the many serial killers he invites to his exclusive and twisted dinner parties. With several seats around the table and one noticeably empty, I wanted to dig deeper into each of the killers shown so far, their motives, their methods, and what makes them tick. So, after doing some research and piecing everything together, here's Dexter Resurrection, every serial killer explained. Just a heads up, this video will contain spoilers. Keith, known as the Canton Clubber, is the serial killer we know the least about, mainly because his screen time was extremely short. He was introduced and killed off within minutes. His nickname comes from the fact that he murdered his victims in Canton using a brutal weapon, a bat embedded with nails. While we never got details about his victims, we know he was dangerous enough to earn a seat at Leon Prater's table. However, Keith's greed got the better of him. He kept demanding more money from Prater and even threatened to go to the police. That led to his downfall. He was ultimately killed by Charlie using the very weapon he used to murder others. Although we don't know his total body count, to be labeled a serial killer, he must have had at least 3 victims, enough to earn Prater's respect, or at least he once had it. Ronald Schmidt, also known as Red, was the first serial killer introduced in the show. His motive was rooted in personal trauma. When the ride-sharing app York launched, his father, a traditional taxi driver, lost work, went into debt, and ultimately took his own life. Red blamed York drivers for his father's death and began targeting them one by one. With a total of 12 victims, he became one of the more prolific killers. He wore dark clothing and a hoodie lined with infrared lights to avoid being recorded on dash cams. He would pretend to be a passenger, manipulate the drivers psychologically, then kill them with a wire saw, decapitating them. He kept driver's licenses as trophies, marking them with a blood-red cross. Eventually, Red met his end at the hands of Dexter, who tricked him by posing as a York driver and setting a deadly trap. Next up is Lowell, also known as the Tattoo Collector. Lowell was taken out by Dexter just before he could kill Jules, whose tattoo he wanted to add to his grotesque collection. Lowell is an anesthesiologist, and he uses anesthesia to subdue his victims quickly and efficiently. After capturing them, he skins the tattoo from their body, preserving it like a piece of art. He reportedly killed around 26 people, making him one of the most prolific murderers in the show so far. His killings stem from what he described as an unstoppable pressure that only goes away after a kill, a dark inner urge that controls him. Mia, also referred to as Lady Vengeance, has one of the most compelling arcs. Her journey began when her sister was abused by her mother's boyfriend, a predator. Driven by guilt and rage, she returned home and killed the man. That experience awakened something in her, a thrill. Initially, she targeted abusers and predators, but over time, she began killing for the thrill alone. If she couldn't find someone who had done wrong, she'd go to a bar, lure a man back home, knock him out, and torture him to death. One particularly horrific detail: she burns the corneas out of her victims' eyes. She keeps a wide range of trophies, from dog tags to jewelry, and has killed at least 7 men, nearly adding an 8th before being caught. Al, known as Rapunzel, is perhaps the most unsettling killer due to his charming, suburban dad persona. Warm, friendly, and almost cheerful. Yet behind that mask lies something deeply disturbing. His nickname comes from his MO. He targets women, cuts off their ponytails, and keeps them as trophies. The motive isn't fully revealed, but it's suggested that it ties back to trauma involving his mother, who also wore a ponytail. He calls his murders the Prater bonus, referencing the money he receives from attending Leon's events, money that supports his family's comfortable life, though they have no idea where it comes from. Gareth, aka the Gemini Killer, is another standout among the killers at Prater's table. Not because he's loud, but because he's quiet, calculated, and watchful. His signature move? He always kills in pairs, believing it creates the ultimate bond between the victims. This might hint at a traumatic past, possibly the loss of a twin, that he's trying to symbolically recreate through his murders. He's said to have claimed at least 32 lives, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in the series. His trophies are photographs of his victims, which he keeps as mementos of his twisted acts. Finally, we have the New York Ripper, the mysterious unseen hand behind many of the show's darkest moments. Leon Prater describes him as a legend who terrorized New York in his youth and was never caught. His weapon of choice? A crowbar, one of which Prater keeps locked away in his vault, suggesting a personal connection. The Ripper's kill count currently stands at 22 victims, but since he's still active and unknown, that number is likely to rise. The show is teasing a major reveal, and I have a feeling this killer's identity is going to shake everything up. Could it be Leon Prater himself? We'll have to wait and see. And there you have it. Every serial killer in Dexter Resurrection explained so far. With the season only halfway done, we could be introduced to even more killers before the end. I'm especially curious to see if Leon Prater turns out to be a killer himself, and of course, the true identity of the New York Ripper. If more killers are revealed, I'll definitely cover them in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives like this.